What is something creepy that society accepts as the norm? Location services on apps. Why does Angry Birds need to know where I live? Shows like Nancy Grace, where they talk about the accused as if they are automatically guilty. By the same note, the Facebook groups which post mugshots of people immediately after their arrests. Beauty pageants. Especially child beauty pageants. Jesus Christ, those are disturbing as hell. Posting every second of your child's life on social media. Maybe they don't want their potty training experience documented and viewable for all time. Networking mannerisms, especially in corporate contexts. Specifically the skin-crawlingly psychopathic character that people take on, faking smiles and deploying compliments, and pretending to like one another in a way that is 100% designed for self-benefit, has always struck me as gross and creepy in its obvious insincerity. Don't know if it's been said, not going through 4,000 comments but lobbying presidential campaigns. This has always creeped me out, and I cannot fathom why this is not highly illegal. In exchange for campaign support, we want you to pass bills/laws that work in our favor to make us more money. Isn't this bribery? But it's just normal. The amount of information we give to strangers, and often corporations, on the internet. Everyone asking young couples when they are gonna start having unprotected sex so they can have a baby. So is he coming all up inside you? Embalming bodies. Taking out the blood and sealing up the body cavities to make the skin keep long enough for everyone to gawk at. Multi-level marketing companies. They're obviously scams and some even have this weird cultish vibe among their members. But they are still a multi-million-dollar industry. Many desperate people get into it and are tolerated by the law. Animal mutilation. Ear cropping and tail docking of certain canine breeds for no reason other than to fit a standard. Declawing cats, cutting off the tip of each phalange down to the first joint. Not against other surgeries, like spay/neuter. But in the case of cropping, docking, and declawing, the animals don't benefit in any way from these procedures, and it does hurt them. Source: veterinary technician who used to assist these surgeries. Edit: in response to the comments. 1. Circumcision is similar. I agree. I have no first-hand experience on this, and chose to let other commenters take on this matter. 2. Factory farms are awful. I doubt anyone who saw the practices in it would disagree. I have previously posted about an experience I had when working for a sanctuary for abused and neglected farm animals. I've been a vegetarian for almost 20 years. 3. There are tons of ways to get your cat to stop scratching your shit up. If you can't be bothered to do any of them, get a goldfish. The weird predatory way that a lot of men treat/perceive women. I'm not an SJW, but as a guy's guy, I have been exposed to a lot of bro-ish chats about women. A lot of guys think of women as this confusing separate species that has to be tricked into having sex with them. The thing is, I think this actually comes from fears of humiliation, not feeling accepted, etc., insecurities, and loneliness. The trick to getting women to like you is to treat them like people. The over-medication of kids. Not every kid has AD or ADHD. If kids are sat down to do 8 hours of tedious clerical type of work, it shouldn't come as a surprise if they start to fidget and daydream. The vast majority of kids aren't suffering from disorders. They're suffering from childhood. Filming everyone. Jesus, I don't care if it's perceived social justice, a prank, someone dancing during a concert, something funny, our government, something sexy, a celebrity in a market, a social experiment. Give people some privacy. The fact that we hoard and mass produce living creatures for consumption. I eat meat, but the reality is disturbing when you really consider it. Celebrity worship. In the US, we treat successful movie and music entertainers as this untouchable class, revered as demigods. We hunger for every bit of detail of their personal lives. Who is dating whom? Who broke up with whom? A sighting of one can incite a panic. They can never eat a meal in public in peace. When one of them dies, we obsess over it for weeks, even years later. I've seen or met several celebrities in my life and they are just normal people. Sure, they're wealthy, but they are just people. Some are divas and assholes for sure, but most of them are just workers in the entertainment industry and they've done well for themselves. Okay, real shit. How sexual stuff in movies makes it a higher adult rating than violence. A titty pops out, and that movie probably has a higher rating than a horror movie. Also IDK how people feel about this, but in some animes they'll give huge ass boobs and sexualize the fuck out of a girl who's supposed to be 13. Also emo the way they depict romantic relationships in movies and teen books is usually pretty weird fam. Paparazzi is legal stalking edit. I'm probably wrong, I don't watch a lot of anime. Rubbing pregnant women's stomachs. Not sure if it counts, but the fact that age of consent varies wildly from country to country and state to state. It's creepy to consider how young someone can get married at 14 in some places when other places it's morally reprehensible. Every single day people hop in a metal box that propels itself with exploding fossilized plants, moving you along your merry way far faster than nature could ever have prepared you for. I mean, my dog gets in and just sits there looking out the window like, yeah, this is pretty chill. How are you not freaking out, Sam? A second ago you were out there running flat out and only going a fraction of the speed. How does that not bother you, dog? Even crazier is airplanes. Hi, I need to cross the ocean by midday. Please book me a seat in a big metal tube, take it into the stratosphere, and rocket that baby at 700 miles per hour. Don't even get me started on rockets. Viewing a dead body at a wake. People gather in a room with a dead body and look at it, even children. Always creep me out. Never got the point. Doesn't seem respectful, but it's a cultural norm, so whatever. We have robots that can create an incision less than an inch long, stick a metal bit in, and perform complex surgery, and yet apparently the only way to check the prostate is to stick a finger up the ol' poop chute. What in the actual fuck? From American society, that it's okay to place older loved ones in a home and never see them. I know not all people do this, but I've worked at these places and a large majority go long periods of time without being visited. It's just bizarre to me. Grown men waiting for a girl to turn 18. Her going from 17 to 18 doesn't change the fact that you're 40, buddy. She's still too young for you. This isn't as commonly accepted in the United States, but in Japan and Korea, perhaps other areas as far as I know, it's perfectly normal for businessmen to pass out completely and entirely drunk. When they're laying in the streets, or on the subway, or anywhere for that matter, they are left alone. When I was in Korea, I attempted to assist a man who passed out in front of me, thinking he was suffering from a medical issue. I was swatted away by no less than 5 Koreans who yelled at me in Korean. I proceeded to tell them that I was trained to assist, and they said no, it was normal, leave him be. This is so common. Society acknowledges, accepts, ignores and subsequently protects them. It's insane. Arranged marriages in India. In India, through your childhood and teen years, you're asked not to mingle with the opposite sex and avoid strangers. And when you get older, they want you to spend the rest of your life with someone whose photo some relative liked over the internet or met at some family function. Maybe not creepy, but dumb as a strippers before your wedding. If you've been in a committed relationship long enough to get married, then the day before your wedding isn't your last night of freedom. Kids dressing up and going from house to house asking strangers for candy with a threat to the homie if no candy is provided. Sitting on a strange old man's lap and telling him your secret wish of a gift while your parents take pictures. There are a lot of pictures on mainstream sites of women who obviously don't know that someone is taking a picture of them. For example, these pictures make up like 3/4 of the chive's content. I'm not talking about innocuous pictures, but the ones that are of the woman's ass or breasts. Creep shots seem to be perfectly normal and even celebrated/relished by mainstream internet users. It's pretty creepy when you think about it. A teenage girl can be walking down the street and someone will take a picture of her from behind and send it to a photo blogging website like The Chive, and it'll become viral fapping material for creeps everywhere.